National grid records second collapse in 4 days. Court strikes Nnamdi Kanu's motion for transfer from Sokoto prison. Shettima, Akpabio, Nentawa arrive Plateau to receive Governor Mutfwang into APC. Away from Nigeria, Sudan's military breaks paramilitary rapid support forces nearly 2-year siege on Kordofan region. Hello, good evening and welcome to News Update on Trust TV. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. Nigeria's electricity grid has once again experienced collapse, with all electricity distribution companies not getting supply. A check on the website of the Nigerian Independent System Operator, NISO, showed that all the DISCOs were not allocated supply as at 10:54 a.m. Also, only Delta Gas Power Plant was generating electricity as at 11:14 a.m. with 39 megawatts on the grid. Trust TV reports that this will be the second grid collapse in 4 days, with the last occurring last Friday. NISO had explained that preliminary operational reports indicated that the collapse was associated with the simultaneous tripping of multiple 330 kilovolt transmission lines alongside the disconnection of some grid-connected generating units. Now, tension erupted on Monday at the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) office in Isolo, Lagos State, as protesters and counter-protesters clashed over the agency's ban on sachet and small-volume alcoholic beverages, causing traffic disruptions along major roads in the area. Hundreds of workers from the beverage manufacturing and distribution sector had converged on the NAFDAC office early in the day to protest the policy, which they say threatens their livelihoods and could lead to massive job losses. The protesters, drawn largely from factories, warehouses, and distribution chains linked to sachet alcohol production, carried placards and chanted slogans demanding a reversal on the ban. A demonstration followed NAFDAC's recent enforcement of a long-standing directive prohibiting the production and sale of alcoholic drinks in sachets and small plastic containers. The agency argues that the products contribute to alcohol abuse, especially among minors and vulnerable populations, and pose serious public health and environmental concerns. However, the protesting workers insist that the policy was implemented without adequate consideration for its economic consequences. They claim thousands of jobs are at risk across the value chain, from factory workers to transporters and roadside vendors, many of whom rely solely on sachet alcohol sales for survival. Now, Justice James Kolawole Omotosho of the Abuja Federal High Court has struck out an ex parte motion filed by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, seeking his transfer from the Sokoto Correctional Facility. At Tuesday's proceedings, Kanu's counsel, Demdu Asan, a senior legal advisor of the Legal Aid Council, informed the court that he wishes to withdraw from the matter, citing irreconcilable issues. He said since the last adjourned date, he had been on constant phone communication with the relatives of the applicants. According to him, Kanu's relatives did not show up at his office to depose to the application, despite phone calls and promises to show up. In his ruling, Justice Omotosho commended the counsel for upholding the dignity of the court. Justice Omotosho held that having listened to the counsel from the Legal Aid Council, he will grant leave for the counsel and the agency generally to withdraw from representing the defendant convict. He added that the motion was incompetent and thereafter ordered that the motion ex parte be struck out for lacking competence. Now, Vice President Kashim Shettima, Senate President Godswill Akpabio, and National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress APC, Professor Nentawa have arrived at Polo Stadium, Jos, to formally receive Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang into the ruling APC. Governor Mutfwang, who resigned from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in December last year, will be received into the APC alongside state government officials and thousands of PDP supporters. The Vice President also arrived at the venue alongside the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, and several governors elected on the platform of the party and other party leaders. Our correspondent reports that many aspirants are in different positions on the platform of the APC have been seen at the venue with their supporters raising posters and placards in their support. Trust TV reports that the chairman of the Central Planning Committee, Idris Wasi, had on Monday called on residents, party supporters, and well-wishers to conduct themselves peacefully, lawfully, and responsibly in a manner that reflects the enduring values of unity, civility, and peaceful coexistence from which Plateau State is proudly known. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has fixed Saturday, February 21st, 2026, for the conduct of by-elections in 2 state constituencies in Rivers State. The Commission disclosed this in a notice of election issued in line with Section 28, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act 2022. According to the notice, the by-elections would hold in Ahoda East 2 and Kana 2 state constituencies. INEC said the elections will commence at 8:30 a.m. and will take place at polling units within the affected constituencies. The Commission reminded voters that only persons whose names appear on the voter register and who possess valid permanent voter cards will be allowed to participate in the exercise. It also stressed that voters must cast their ballots only at the polling units where they are registered. INEC further stated that the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System, BVAS, will be deployed for the accreditation of voters during the by-elections. Now, a swift response from the Lagos Fire and Rescue Service has saved the life of an 84-year-old man who attempted to take his own life on Tuesday morning at the Aburu area of the state. The octogenarian had attempted to take his own life by jumping into a well in the area. According to eyewitnesses, the yet-to-be-identified elderly man was rescued by officials of the Lagos State Fire Service after they received a distress call. The respondents arrived at the scene promptly and intervened to prevent the man from harming himself. Margaret Adesheye, Controller General of the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, confirmed the incident in a statement, saying the service received a distress call at exactly 10:09 a.m. concerning the incident. She stated that upon receipt of the call, the agency's rescue crew, alongside personnel from the Abeson Fire Station, were immediately dispatched to the scene and arrived at 10:20 to save the victim from his attempt to commit suicide. Still in Lagos, the State Police Command has announced major breakthroughs in its ongoing fight against crime, with the arrest of 21 suspected members of a notorious one-chance robbery syndicate. The command also said it recovered 25 stolen vehicles, confiscated firearms, recovered fake cash, and swiftly responded to security threats targeting schools across the state. The report.
The Lagos State Police Command attributed the significant operational successes during the period under review to intensified intelligence-led policing, targeted raids, sustained surveillance, and prompt tactical responses to criminal activities across the state. According to the State Commissioner of Police, Olundari Moshood, several suspects were arrested during coordinated operations leading to the
We'll bring you details of that report in our subsequent bulletin. Now, in a bid to improve the lives of citizens through infrastructure development, Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani has commissioned roads completed by his administration in Zaria and Makarfi local government areas. While commissioning the projects, Governor Sani stated that his administration will continue to deliver the dividends of democracy with initiatives aimed at improving the standard of living for the people of the state. The report.
Arriving at Durum in Makarfi local government area, Governor Uba Sani was received by a large crowd who turned out to express their gratitude for the governor. Residents from Durum and neighboring communities attended the occasion to witness the commissioning of the road. Addressing the gathering, Governor Sani said the road will not only connect Durum to other communities, but also accelerate development in the area and improve the lives of citizens.
It was in response to these realities that on the 8th of September 2025, I personally performed the groundbreaking for the construction of this vital road. Today, barely 4 months later, I am proud to return to commission the completed Durum to Kuruntumawa asphaltic road. This road is far more than concrete and tar. It is a lifeline. It is the channel through which the labor of our farmers will reach markets more efficiently. It is connecting Durum to Kuruntumawa, Makarfi local government area, Kaduna State, was commissioned by my humble self, Senator Uba Sani, CON, Governor of Kaduna State.
The Makarfi Durum Kuruntumawa Road was commissioned by Governor Uba Sani, who was accompanied by traditional leaders, government officials, and other community representatives. Residents expressed gratitude to God and commended the governor for the construction, noting that the road is expected to bring much needed development to the area. In Kaduna, when I received a call that the road construction would commence, I was skeptical about the project because we had instances where such attempts were made, but the work was never delivered. However, I am happy now because a 4-kilometer road has been constructed in just 4 months.
Wurin Tamawa da Durum da Mayere da mutanen karamar hukumar Makarfi da mutanen jihar Kaduna ba sai wani ya gaya muku cewa Allah ya hada mu da gamna mai fada da cikawa ba. Haka ne? Haka ne?
In Zaria, the governor received a warm reception as 2 major roads were commissioned, an asphaltic road from Magajia to Kasuang Amaru and the Zaria Audi to Albarkawa Road. Governor Sani noted that these roads would create business opportunities, enhance mobility, and accelerate development in the communities.
I was here on the 6th of March 2025 to perform the groundbreaking of this very important road. It is therefore a source of great satisfaction that in less than 1 year we have returned not for another promise but for fulfillment. This road represents far more than asphalt and concrete. It is a corridor of opportunity linking neighborhoods to markets, students to schools, families to healthcare, and businesses to growth.
Residents in both Zaria and Makarfi expressed their gratitude, pledging support for Governor Sani's administration to continue delivering development projects. Governor Sani assured citizens that with their support, his administration will keep bringing projects that improve the standards of living across Kaduna State.
Away from Kaduna State, both chambers of the National Assembly on Tuesday adjourned plenaries to Wednesday, January 28, to mourn deceased members of the parliament. The deceased members include Senator Godiya Akwashiki, Nasarawa North Senatorial District, Senator Okechukwu Ezie, Enugu North Senatorial District, and Senator John Kojo Bram Baifa, Bayelsa West Senatorial District. In the House of Representatives, a Deputy Speaker, Benjamin Okezie Kalu, who presided the session, informed members of the deaths of the senators and the need to adjourn in line with their standing roles. Earlier in his welcome remarks, Kalu said the House of Representatives will in the coming days fine-tune outstanding issues in the Electoral Act and prioritize key constitution amendment provisions. According to him, the Electoral Act remains one of the major legislative milestones for the House in 2026, noting that the Senate is also expected to conclude its part of the process. He added that where there are still outstanding issues in the Electoral Act, the House would ensure they are addressed promptly. This is News Update on Trust TV, coming up after the break. Reflections on insecurity, girl-child education as the world marks Education Day. Now moving on to more stories. As the world marks Education Day, many countries celebrate progress and new ideas in learning. In Nigeria, the moment also brings concern. Insecurity still blocks access to education for many girls, especially in the north, where fear now shapes the school experience. Tante Azal completes the report.
Armed attacks, school abductions, and repeated threats have changed the meaning of school for many families. Classrooms that should feel safe now carry worry. Attendance drops, concentration suffers, the future feels uncertain. At Spiriton International Girls Secondary School in Lugbe, Abuja, students say the fear is real. Each report of another abduction makes it harder to focus on lessons.
Anytime I hear about a particular school getting their students getting abducted, I feel scared because you don't know the purpose of why they came to abduct them. You don't know if they are going to be released. Nobody knows their fate, and the pressure that is going to be put on their parents is really devastating because some parents end up getting high blood pressure and many other things.
When I hear that girls are being abducted in around Nigeria, as a brother, I get really scared. I get tensed up. I was not able to read because some of my siblings also are in boarding school, and the pressure when I hear that some other schools are also being abducted, and I start thinking about them, thinking about myself, thinking if I should read or if I should concentrate. I just get really scattered. That's why last time everything was just so bumpy. I couldn't really get myself.
School leaders say insecurity affects more than students. It influences school planning, safety measures, and the relationship between the school and the community.
A lot of traumas that we hear or past experiences of some girls that were taken into the bush, when they came out, all the experiences, what they told the public was really something that is dehumanizing. And I think because of such experiences, many girls became dropouts. Some are traumatized and are living with the traumas in our society today. And I think a lot of parents are also discouraged to send their children to boarding school, especially when it has to do with girls.
Once there's issue of adoption in any school concerning the girl's child, the school system is destabilized because teaching and learning will no longer run smoothly. Everything will be in fear. The teachers are in fear, the students too are in fear, and that concentration will no longer be there.
Gender advocate Mercy Okeke, senior officer at Gender Africa, says keeping girls in school now depends on stronger protection systems and firm policies that keep learning spaces safe and open.
With insecurity, it just increases the vulnerability of girls and women to the effects of social norms and cultural norms. We know that in certain cultures, parents prefer to send their sons to school than their daughters. And so when schools are constantly being attacked, girls are abducted, forced into marriage or abused sexually, parents continue to keep their daughters at home.
As Nigeria reflects on education, the call from students, educators and advocates is direct. Protect schools, rebuild trust, and make it possible for every girl to learn without fear. Tanti Azal, Trust TV, Abuja.
And now in business, the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission have begun plotting coordinates for disputed and newly drilled oil and gas fields located on the boundaries of oil-producing states. The fields involve Edo and Delta states, Ondo and Delta, Anambra and Delta, Anambra and Imo, Rivers and Imo, Rivers and Bayelsa, Rivers and Akwa Ibom, and Cross River and Akwa Ibom. Speaking at the opening of a 5-day event involving officials of the affected states and federal government agencies, the chairman, RMAFC, Dr. Muhammad Shehu, disclosed that the coordinates have been identified and will be plotted during the meeting. Shehu assured that the states of fair and equal treatment are the state of fair and equal treatment, adding that the Commission has a constitutional mandate to ensure that 13% derivation is distributed equitably to oil and gas producing states. He explained that the Commission last June inaugurated an interagency technical committee which comprised the National Boundary Commission, the Office of the Surveyor General, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, and RMAFC to verify and plot coordinates for disputed and newly drilled oil and gas wells of the affected states. Now, away from Nigeria, Sudan's military says it has broken a nearly 2-year siege by the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, on a key town in the Kordofan region, gaining major control over major supply lines. In a statement late on Monday, the military said it had opened a road leading to South Kordofan Province's Dilin town. There was no immediate comment from the RSF, which has been at war with the army for control of Sudan for nearly 3 years. Meanwhile, the head of the government-aligned Sudanese Armed Forces, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, met Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani in Doha on Tuesday as part of the army's efforts to find support from the allied countries to help rebuild the Sudanese terrorists retaken from the RSF. And now in sports, Director General of National Sports Commission, NSC, Bukola Olopade, has dismissed reports suggesting that Super Eagles head coach Eric Chell could leave his position following interest from Tunisia, Gabon and Angola. Chell had attracted attention from several African nations after leading Nigeria to a third-place finish at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. The Malian tactician has less than 1 year remaining on his current contract with the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF), fueling speculation over his future. However, Olopade has firmly ruled out the possibility of Chell's departure, insisting that the coach's success with Nigeria has been driven largely by the quality of players at his disposal. Olopade also revealed that discussions are ongoing between key stakeholders to secure stability around the national team setup. And that's a wrap on news updates. Do not forget to follow us across all social media platforms for more programs, news, and documentaries. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. Bye for now.